You think she said yes because she wanted it. That is the first mistake almost every foreign man in Bangkok makes on this exact topic. Bangkok is not Thailand when the conversation turns to this question. And the answer you think you heard is almost never the answer she actually gave you. You walked away from that rooftop, convinced you had unlocked something rare. What you actually unlocked was a version of her that only exists between midnight and 3, under that specific lighting, with that specific friend sitting next to her. Let me show you what is really happening underneath that. Yes, because once you see it, you stop chasing the wrong signal entirely. Before we continue, please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any videos in the future. The first thing you need to understand is that a Bangkok yes is not a Western yes. When a Bangkok girl agrees to something spicy in the middle of the night, she is rarely agreeing to the thing you think she is agreeing to. She is agreeing to the version of herself she wants you, and the table, and maybe her best friend, to see in that moment. In Thonglor and Ekamai especially, girls are soaked in international nightlife energy, expat expectations, and a social script where being open-minded is its own kind of currency. Agreement in that environment is often identity performance, not desire. She is signaling that she is modern, she is worldly, she is not the quiet girl from the province anymore. The yes is about her, not about you. Picture it. 2 a.m, rooftop bar near Sukhumvit. The topic comes up half as a joke. She laughs, she says why not. Her friend raises an eyebrow. You think you just crossed a line together. You did not. You watched her try on a costume for the length of a cocktail. Her yes at that hour is a costume. Do not mistake it for her skin. The second thing, and this is where a lot of foreign men get completely lost, is that curiosity is not the same as want. A lot of Bangkok girls are genuinely curious about things they have no intention of doing. Curiosity is safe because it can be withdrawn at any moment without cost. Want is different. Want commits her to something that touches her reputation, her identity, and the way her friends talk about her on Monday. Bangkok girls grew up in a city where Western shows, expat friends, social media from Los Angeles and Berlin, and every kind of dating dynamic are just part of the air she breathes. Hearing about something 1,000 times makes it feel familiar. It does not make it desired. She can talk about a topic fluently, reference it casually, even laugh at it across the table, and still have exactly zero appetite behind the words. Foreign men confuse fluency with appetite constantly. Here is how it looks in practice. She is the one who brings it up first. She sounds casual. You read that as a green light, and you start planning the night in your head. What you missed was the pause right after she said it. That half second where her eyes flicked to yours to see how you would react. She was not opening a door. She was testing the shape of you. She is reading you. You are not reading her. Now let me get into something almost no foreign man in Bangkok sees correctly, which is the friend dynamic. When a Bangkok girl starts exploring edges, the engine behind that exploration is very often her friend, not you. The story you think is entirely about you is usually a story about a dynamic between 2 women that you were casually invited into. The girl groups in Phrom, Ari, the Thonglor nightlife circuit, they have their own internal social physics. Dares, loyalty, shared secrets, quiet competitions, all of it is running underneath every single night out, and most of it is invisible to the foreign man at the table. She is performing for her friend as much as she is performing for you, sometimes more. There is a whole second conversation happening in glances, in quick Thai half sentences, in who reaches for the bill first. You are the third chair at a table where the real negotiation started 2 hours before you sat down. Next time, watch carefully. You will assume the energy is all pointed at you. It is not. Most of it is bouncing back and forth between the 2 of them. You are the excuse, not the subject. The man who understands this suddenly becomes dramatically more interesting to both women at once, because he stops performing and starts observing. You thought you were the main character. You were the setting. Be honest with me for a second. How many times has this exact dynamic played out in front of you without you seeing it? The next piece is the one I think matters the most, because it is the part foreign men get wrong in the morning, not the night. Whatever a Bangkok girl says she is open to at 1 in the morning has almost no relationship to what she actually feels about it at 9 the next day. The question is not whether she says yes. The question is which version of her is speaking when she says it. The Bangkok night self and the Bangkok day self are genuinely two different operating systems running on the same woman. Sukhumvit at 2 a.m. and that same girl on the BTS heading to work at 9 a.m. are not the same psychological state. She is not being dishonest with you. She is being two different people depending on context, and the culture she grew up inside quietly trained her to be exactly that way. The mistake is taking one version as the real one and the other as fake. Both are real. Neither is the whole picture. Wild energy on a Friday night, everything feels aligned. Saturday morning, she goes quiet. Sunday, she barely replies. You think you did something wrong. You replay the whole night looking for the moment it tipped. You did not do anything wrong. The day self simply came back online, and she is now quietly negotiating with her night self about what happened without you in the room. The girl who said yes last night may not be home when you call today. Stop interpreting her silence as rejection. Let her come back on her own schedule. This is also where mutual responsibility comes in, because I am not only here to correct the man. A Bangkok girl who senses she is about to step into a situation that her Sunday self will regret has her own job to do. She has to say the real thing, not the cocktail version of it. If she knows the night self is writing checks, the day self is not going to cash. The kind thing, the mature thing, is to slow it down in the moment, rather than ghost him for 3 days afterward. Open communication is not a demand one side makes of the other. It is a shared practice. She can say, I am enjoying this conversation. I am not ready for that conversation. And a real man will respect that instantly. The relationships that actually work in this city are the ones where both people learn to speak plainly in a culture that does not always reward plain speaking. That is not about forcing anyone to be something they are not. That is about two adults choosing not to hide behind context. Before we continue, please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any videos in the future. There is also a status calculation happening in her head that you are almost certainly not aware of. For a Bangkok girl, any situation like this carries social risk that simply does not exist for you. Bangkok is a small city disguised as a big one. The same circle of girls moves between the same rooftops in Thonglor, the same cafes in Ari, the same Sunday brunches in Sathorn. Stories travel faster than you think, and reputation walks into every room about 10 minutes before she does. So while you are enjoying the moment, she is silently running a calculation. Who will know? Who will talk? Who will use this against me in 6 months at a party I have not even been invited to yet? If you treat the situation like a trophy, if you behave like someone who is already planning how to mention this later, she has already decided, before anything has happened, that you are not safe. And safety in Bangkok is the precondition for every single thing that comes after it. You mention something vaguely to another expat at a bar in Selam a week later. You think you were subtle. You think it was harmless. It reaches her circle inside 10 days. She will not confront you. She will simply cool, create distance, and quietly close the door. You will never get a clear reason why, and you will spend weeks wondering what you did. Her reputation is not paranoia. It is her currency, and she protects it the way you protect your bank account. Which brings me to the men who actually get a real yes. And this is the part that is going to sting for some of you. The foreign men who end up in genuinely open, genuinely shared situations in this city are almost never the men who were pushing for it. They are the men who stopped needing it to happen at all. In a city where every second expat is trying to turn nightlife into a story he can tell his friends back home, a man who does not need a story stands out instantly. He becomes readable as safe, and safe is the rarest signal in any Bangkok room after midnight. Desire in Bangkok follows the same law it follows everywhere, just sharpened by the environment. The man who is relaxed about outcomes gives her permission to be curious without consequences. The man who is chasing an outcome makes curiosity feel expensive. Two men, same bar in Ekamai, same group of girls. One is visibly angling, his questions are loaded, his eyes keep checking her reaction. The other one is genuinely enjoying the conversation. 3 weeks later, the second man is still being invited out on Friday nights. The first one is being politely forgotten, removed from the group chat without ceremony. The city rewards that kind of patience and it punishes almost everything else. The men who get a real yes are the ones who stopped auditioning for it. So, do Bangkok girls actually like this kind of thing? The honest answer is that the question itself is wrong. Some do not, and almost none of them decide based on what the foreign man in front of them wants. What Bangkok girls actually respond to is the same thing women everywhere respond to, just filtered through a city that moves faster, watches closer, and remembers longer than most foreign men realize. Safety. The ability to read a room. A man who is not performing. A man who understands that a yes at midnight is not a contract at noon. A man who also understands that she has work to do on her side, which is to speak honestly about what she actually wants instead of letting the night self sign things the day self has to pay for. That kind of honesty has to flow in both directions, or it does not flow at all. Stop chasing the headline and start reading the context. Watch the pauses. Watch the glances between her and her friend. Watch which version of her is sitting across from you. The men who learn to do that end up in rooms the chasers never see, and they end up there without ever having to ask. That is not a technique. That is the entire game. Creating those videos is often stressful next to a full-time job. So, if you enjoy watching my videos, then please support me by subscribing to my channel. It just shows the algorithm that you like these kinds of videos. See you in the next video.